Good morning, everyone. We are still enjoying the weekend. It is Saturday, May the 30th, 2026. Welcome to the Speak the Truth in Love ministry with Miss Veronica Mirembe Benedictio. And in this edition, this is our 29th video. I want to really share a single ladies talk. A talk with single ladies, And as I'm sharing this talk, I'm also speaking to myself because I believe we read, just like I say, I am an educator. I read, I do lots of research, I do lots of counseling with people. So most of the things I share are out of at times like research. I have seen them among people. It's my own life experience. So in this 29th edition, I want to really give a single ladies talk in regard to my life, because I'm asked by so many single ladies out there, very many young girls in their 20s, in their 25, 26, but Madame Veronica Gochkolo Tianga, you're not anxious, you don't seem to be fearful or kuze. And I'm here to share with the single ladies out there something out of my life experience I believe can help you as a single lady to have something to learn, because I'm one person who believes we rise through raising, others. I really believe my success, I should be enthusiastic and very happy and proud of other people's progress as success as I am of my own. So, sorry, I have a cold. There are things I share out of life experience that I believe God can use to impact a life out there. And in this single ladies talk, I'll be very specific. We have to know this is a talk conveyed to ladies out there who want to walk in the truth. We know we've all done mistakes. None of us is perfect. And it is the reason I don't really emphasize perfectionism on my channel, because the Bible tells us in Romans 3:10, none of us is perfect. And we have to know, as I'm conveying this talk, it is a talk to the world out there for people, because he's a God of second chance. He's a God of third chances. So if God has had mercy upon us, it is the same mercy we should show and convey to others. It is the same mercy we should we should look at others with, instead of being judgmental. There's that scripture I like in Romans. I think it's Romans 2:13. It says God's mercy prevails over. It triumphs over judgment. I'm not sure if that's the scripture. Is it Romans 12? I'm not very sure. Is it Romans 2:13? I'm not very sure. But it says God's mercy prevails over judgment. God's mercy triumphs over judgment, And it is the reason, as I'm conveying this single ladies talk, I'll tell someone out there, you do not have to be perfect, because we are all in that journey. And I will share some of the mistakes in this journey of singlehood that I believe young people out there can learn from, and even single ladies, because I really believe we can learn from each other. So we have to know, single ladies, it is very wrong to enter a relationship because of fearing, like the fear of being alone, societal pressure, comparisons, because you realize most people have made mistakes that have led to eternal regret, because they entered relationships out of fear of being alone, out of loneliness, societal pressure from family, from community, from the church, from the workplace, comparison. And it is the reason the Spirit has led me in such a channel, in such a talk, to speak to a single lady out there. Because at times we fall prey to the enemy's mistakes, to the enemy's camp, to the enemy's, because we have not known certain truths. Omuzungu agamba ignorance is no excuse of the law. Obutamanya tebukujjaako musango. Kati mulimu ebintu nga Bible wetugamba tunaamanya amazima ganatufuula ab'eddembe. There are certain things our parents, there are things we have done, there are things we do in life, not because we want, but we did not know certain truths. And it is the reason when the Spirit raises someone who shares such truth, the world should welcome them, because we live in a world where everyone is waiting to laugh, where everyone is praying for people's downfall, everyone is praying for people's tears and shame, which is wrong, and it is why I'm really led by the Spirit to come up with such videos to see how we can help one another. So one, single ladies, do not enter a relationship because you think you are very late in life. Nedda nze mbuulirira abaana abawala kuba nina abaana bakwano bange bali myaka 24, 23 maze okusoma, pressure etandise, and lwakuba tetutegedde mazima gano kyova olaba tukola ensobi. There is something I tell people, do not allow society to give you your worth. Most of us make decisions because we have allowed society to give us worth, which is wrong. We live in a generation where we are attending weddings, we are attending kwanjulas, introductions, traditional ceremonies, we are attending kuhinjiras, we are attending bridal showers, and people hardly know. This thing puts most of us on pressure, and you're like, banange me, when am I going? It begins, you begin thinking you are a loser, but you hardly know. Each of us has different timings and seasons before God. And as long as you are aligned in faithfulness, your season will come. Most of us are in a generation where we live in comparisons, and it is why we end up making choices that lead to eternal pain and regret, because we have allowed the societal pressure define our worth. No, single ladies, as I'm doing this talk, as I'm also speaking to myself, know your worth. Know your worth, not out of pride into nepa and kanti nina malala, because I really believe in humility. It is something very important. Knowing your worth tekitegezanti wepanka, but knowing your worth is knowing who you are. Not in a wenti wepanka, but because you know what you want. Whenever you do not know your worth, men are going to play with your body. You will think someone is doing you a favor. No, I'm telling you ladies, we have to know, men are very aware that we are desperate. Amanyi ku myaka 38 choyagala it is settling and giving birth and conceiving. And it is why you see they take advantage of us. Because they take advantage of desperation. Let me speak to a lady out there. Desperation is a demon that makes most of us make decisions that we eventually regret our entire lives. Whenever you are desperate as a single, you are going to go into relationships because of fear of being alone, because of societal pressure. We have these things where we are looking at biological clocks. Omanyi oweze emyaka 38, owezeze emyaka 4, emyaka 2 tonnazaala. I'm telling you, who tells you God is a respecter of biological clocks? No, our God is a God of times and seasons. He's no respecter of calendars, of biological clocks, of certain timings, because he created you with a purpose, and he's no respecter of biological clocks. And it is why I tell young girls out there, buli wobeera mazima ng'omanyi toyina mpeke z'okozesa, toyina mbuto z'ojjamu, toyina bintu by'olimu bitawesa Mukama kitiibwa. Do not worry about biological clocks, because you are not spoiling your body. There is something I tell young single ladies out there. We live in a generation where we take things for granted. I tell young single ladies, a man is playing with your body. Alia wakozesa, wojjamu embuto, womira piru. Chokojja kufuna omwami ayagala okuwasa, okukuba embaga okutwala mmaka. And you will battle infertility because you have been spoiling your body. Olia woyokya amajigo ng'okozesa piru. And it is why I'm conveying these messages, not out of judgment, but love, to help a young single lady out there who may want to make things right with God. Because he's a God of second chances. He's a God of third chances. He's a God who does not judge us. Kati omuntu omwoyo omutukuvu gwakozesa okujja okubuulira obubaka bwe buti. abatakusalira musango naye aba akulaga kwetereza, because it is really hurting when you talk to very many medical people, very many doctors, and they are telling you young girls at the age of 23 and they are married but they are battling infertility. But what brings this? It is because you begin using pills at an early age. Tutandikako sempeke nga tuli baana bato ne zitoocha amagi kati n'okula n'ofuna omwami akuwasizza, and it is why you have failed to conceive kubanga obadde oyokya amagi. You know, and it is why I'm conveying such a message. Young single ladies, know your worth. No, there are things I usually share about and I am called mad. Kubanga ate nga mu butuufu bya bulalu kwa generation gye tulimba jja kugamba ebya sexual purity tebiriiyo. Sexual purity kwe kutambula nga weekuuma. And what is sexual purity? Even it's not all about having intimacy with a man, but it involves so many things. What are you listening to? What are you watching? No, there are things we take for granted, but it is the reason why our bodies want to have, because we are not guarding our hearts. Nedanza abantu bambuuza negoberawo otya. No, who told you? Who told you that this body has to live with sex alone? No, there are things I tell young single ladies. Be very careful by what this world is talking. Because at times we have not known certain truths, and it is why we are perishing as young people. No, there is something I tell people. When you get to know this body has no authority over you, ombiri guno guyinza okukugamba nti gwagala kikolwa ekyo n'ogusirisa. Because omubiri guno Katonda teyagutonda gufuga gwagufuga. No, there are things I tell young ladies. We are battling things like masturbation in our generation. And what brings those things? First of all, you are watching movies, okomayo wakanova ku mulimu, nobera computer yo, nolaba bi movie nebitandiko kwasa omubiri. And you're into masturbation, and you're even not proud of what you're doing. So what I share these things out of life experience. I use my shame to help people, because naffe tetuli bamalayika tetutuukiridde, naffe twabiyitamu naye we tuwangudde tuli wano okuyamba abaana abawala. Because abaana abawala babeera mu bintu ebyo, abaana abalenzi babeera mu bintu ebyo lwakuba biki byolaba. Oli amanyi tagenda kufuna boy, tagenda kufuna girl, naye nobeera nga you are spoiling your sexual organs because of what you are watching on the TV, on your phone. Because we have to know our eyes are gates. Whatever you watch, it will come. You'll want to do it because you are human. You know, it is why you see you'll run after, you look for a man because you have not known, are you really guarding the things you are watching, the things you are listening to? No, there are things I tell people. Personally, I can testify fasting has been a weapon. Buli wosirisa omubiri guno tegugenda kufuga. Woyiga okusiibako. Abaana abawala tukimanye emmere eyina amaanyi. Womanya amaanyi g'emmere oyiga okusirisa omubiri guno. Because at the end of the day, there are certain truths we have to know. Personally, how have I been able to make it? How do I manage it? I make sure during towards my periods, I'm always fasting. Because I know during that time it is ovulation and the body really wants to be with a man. So what I do, I fast, I silence it. And I'll say how I want to. Because at the end of the day, we are human. No, there are things I share my shame to help people. No, there are times we are battling things like masturbation. It is because of what you're watching. Whenever you keep yourself busy, I'm telling you, you have no time for such dirty acts. Because you're busy. Omubiri guno guba tegulina budde bwa bintu bwe bitu. You know, kubanga nange siri malayika byamberangako. I struggled with such things, but it's because I had not known certain truths, and it is why I'm speaking to young people. I'm speaking to young single ladies who want to do things the right way. You know, we are told about things like sexual purity or kwekuma. Those are all generations. Even we call it crap. That is nonsense. But how many of us are into depression? How many of us are into rejection? And we are told, but we do not want. Those things don't work in our generation. No, there is something I tell young people. Generations may change, but we don't change. And the word of God does not change. God has still given us the power of self-control. Tusobola okwefuga. Emirembe giyinza okuba gikyuse naye Mukama atuwadde amaanyi ag'okwefuga. Kati gwe wobeera onoogaba omubiri gwo ntwala tosobola kwefuga. No, there is something I tell young single ladies. There are things we have to learn for our own good. It is why you see men use your body and they run away because you do not know your worth. How are you dressing? At times the way we dress is the reason we attract the wrong men in our lives. Otambula kulaga bisambi, otambula kulaga mabere, nera abajja okukwana bajja kujja kwakira ku mabere go ku bisambi byo nga bwe bakuddukako because atunda ayolesa. Kati there are things we have to know in this journey as single ladies. Refuse societal pressure. Do not allow society to give you worth. Because your worth does not come from a ring on your finger. It does not come from a man's name. It does not come from having children. No, your worth comes from living a life of purpose. Your worth comes from being true to yourself, happy with yourself. Your worth comes through not allowing other people dictate your choices. There are things I speak to myself. At the end of the day, no one has to give you worth. It is you to give it to yourself. If you think your worth is in a man, in a ring on your finger, you're very mistaken. It is why we see them, they are married, but they have no peace. Because they think, my worth, my identity is in a man. And it takes me to the next point. Young single lady, young single Veronica, know your identity. Whenever you know your identity, even if you get into marriage, I'm telling you, most of us are very anxious about marriage because we think when I get married is when I'll be happy. When I get a man, it's when I'll be happy. When I get children, it's when I'll be happy. You are very mistaken. Because a man does not bring happiness. Children don't bring happiness because you can have them and they're the source of your stress. And it is why you have to work on your identity as a woman. No, let me tell single ladies, because I have dated people, but at times we hardly know. Whenever you are depending on a man for your emotional wellness, they manipulate you. It is why olaba omusajja ajja kwebakako because they do not respect your values. Kubanga you do not know how to be happy alone. No, there are things I tell people we have to be very careful in this zone of singlehood. Men take advantage of our desperation as young single ladies because they know choyagala choka kukuzala mwana kusetolinga. And it is why you should be very careful. Marriage does not bring happiness. Children do not bring happiness. And we should stop allowing the world to give us such mindsets that lead so many people in regret, in suffering, because we have not known certain truths. No, let me speak to a single lady out there. Look good, wefeeko. Omuganda agamba endabikayo kye kitiibwa kyo. Tolinda musajja akuteekamu ssente. Naawe oli mwana muwala okeera n'ozikola. Lwaki tozeeteekamu? No, there is something I have gotten to know out of Revelation. Class attracts class. Look after yourself. Work on your financial security. No, a man is not supposed to be your financial, settling because of financial security is wrong. Nawe ng'omukyala woba olina akasente ko kikuweesa ekitiibwa kyova olaba n'omwami tajja kuyisa maaso kubanga naawe olina akasente ko ng'omukyala. But most of us, you are waiting for a man because you want to make him your financial security, as if you cannot work. And that is so wrong. It is why I speak to young single ladies. Ego kwefako, look good, smell nice, change your hair, have a beautiful appearance. In that the one who is attracted to you will know that is you. Because at times we are into these pity parties. Zenchali single. I'm telling you, learn how to look after yourself. Let us work on our character. Tukole kumbala zaffe, twejjemu obunafu, twejjemu obuchafu, twejjemu obuyombi, obutagumiikiriza, bad temper, easily angered. Because marriage, marriage is known for the bad-tempered. It is known for the easily angered. It is known for the impatient. Obufumbo obugumiikiriza. Kati oluusi mu season eno tukole kumbala zaffe. Veronica kola kumbala yo. Kintu kyembagamba tubale ebibala. Our first institution is not getting married, but kubala bibala. There are things we have to know. Whenever you are desperate, men are going to play on your body. No, let me speak to young single ladies out there, out of lots of humility. When you get to know who you are, when you know your worth, I'm telling you, a man is not going to blow. And it is why you see very many men do not like ladies who know what they want. Because that is how society wears us. Whenever you do not know what you want, a man will make you know what because you don't know what you want. And it is why, as a lady, as you are praying for a man out there, also pray for yourself. Mukama kola kumbala yange. You are praying for a saint, but are you a saint? It is the reason in this season, let us work on our character. No, let me speak to young ladies out there. At times some people have not fallen into these traps, and it is why God allows us to share such messages, not to hurt others, but to help those abatanayingira butego. I'm not ridiculing any single mother, but be very careful, because the world puts us on pressure, and people they become single mothers. Nengensi yakulaga pressure nga woli late. And I'm telling you, whenever you know what you want, you're not going to allow the world give you worth. No, so many young ladies have become single mothers, have just conceived, because the world shows us, because you don't have a child, there's a problem with you. And that is so wrong. No, I tell people, remember, it is your own family. Family yo yekulaga nga otabazalidde mwana naye kati gwe muzaale nga toyina ssente ojja ate nga family yo yekugeya naye nga yakozesa ensobi n'ekuteeka ku pressure. This pressure comes from the church, it comes from the society, it comes from the community, and you have allowed your worth to be determined by society, and you hardly know those who seem to have those children, what they are going through, because you think it is everyone's journey. No, there are things I tell young single ladies. There are things I've learned out of revelation. There are certain things this is divine order. I have had friends who have jobs and they are making money, but they are battling us. They have no happiness, but they have all the money to look after the child. Because there are certain things God, and I'm asking myself, this person who gets a salary of 15 million, how come they only have this one child but they are so disturbed? Because God knew the responsibility of looking after a child belongs to a man. And it is why I tell ladies out there are things, as long as we defile God's design and order. Neda ngamba abaana abawala buli wewe fixinga mu ngatto etaliri buli wewe nyiga mu ngatto etaliyo egenda kunyiga obulamu bonna. Because these things of marriage are like that. At times people have gone with the wrong partners because they forced things. No, I tell young single ladies, society wears us to chase and run after men. But we do not know the repercussions and consequences that come from it. Kubange engatto gye wagenda mwe engatto gy'oyambadde si yo tekutuuka. Kati neekunyiga n'obeera mu ngatto neekunyiga kwate wategeera mazima. It is why I'm speaking to young single ladies in this video. Because you are seeing someone's engaged, no wilanga when you're on pressure. I'm telling you, why does someone's engagement have to stress you? Because when we get to know, God has a plan for each of us, and all our timings are different before God. So why do you compare yourself? Why are you into comparisons that only kill your inner peace as a single lady? No, akambulira abaana nange nga neebulira abakyala. Yiga okwefaako, yiga okwerabirira. Look good. Smell nice. Tolinda musajja kuwa sente. Naawe osobola ozeeteekamu. And it is what I'm telling people. Financial security is key for any woman. Because when you get into a marriage, nga mwenna mukola nga buli omu aleeta. N'omwami oba tomumenya. Because aleta nawe no later, and you make the home a better place. But we live in a world where people still have these mindsets of kameza or senteza kameza. No, let me tell single ladies, omuchala ayiya oyamba omwami ono naye okumwanguyiza obulamu. Because there are things I have seen with so many married people, my married friends. And they will tell you, a man tells you to count on him. He gives you everything. Ne atuuka nga naye akukoye. Kubanga mulimu ebintu nga bya Bwakatonda. Asking for money all the time, a person just gets irritated. And it is why, as a lady, you contributing to the home. It is something beautiful. But we live in a generation where you find, no, even those things are in marriages. You find a lady is working, like it is hers and her family. You find this lady even cannot buy a pamper for their child. Everything mommy I know later sent. And it is why she has no happiness in her home. It is because we have not known certain truths. The reason why God said, I'll make Adam a helper. You are a helper to that man. Omwami kagule enyama ogule nyanya. Omwami kagule, like omwami kasasula masanyalaze osasula. Because now obo okola. And that is what marriage is about. But we live in a generation where most people are into competition. They are not complimenting each other in their marriages, but they are into competition, and it's why they don't have happiness, and it is why I'm speaking to a single lady out there as I'm finishing this video. Know your worth out of lots of humility. Nedda nina ekyo kyennya ebintu bye ngamba abantu ne bitunyiiza naye nga ge mazima. Toli kanyeebwa nti buli omu alina kusooka kutestinga kumanya your worth. Toli kiyigo nti buli omu anaabiramu n'ayitamu. You are not a question paper nti buli omu asooka kuyitaayitamu kumanya eno pepa eri etya. You are not a blood sample nti basooka kutestingako. No, there are things I tell young ladies. Whenever you know what you want, a man who loves you will respect you for what you want. Because true love waits. Anto omuntu akwagala, they will respect your values. They will respect what you want. And it is the reason, you find out, anto omusajja yagambye agenda kuba naganye, I'm telling you, muleka agende, taba wo. Mukama ajja kuleetera owaana akugumiikiriza. Because you see it, at times we open our bodies, you open your legs for a man. Aduse, nenga yagamba nti agenda kuwasa. It is because we have not learned certain truths. True love waits. Omwami akwagala nga muntu wa Katonda. They will not force you into intimacy when he respects your values. That is not right. That is so wrong. Because I have friends I have walked this journey with, and then they get into this relationship. Even the men married them, and the man tells her, "Zoba, you're not having intimacy with me. I'm going." And this friend even allowed. Even she first had kids before they got married, But when you look at what she's going through right now, it is hell on earth. And that is a sign to show into a person who is truthful, a person of integrity, will not force his choices on you even if he's a man. And it is why I'm telling young people out there, young single ladies, know your worth. Know who you are. Learn how to look after yourself. Refuse societal pressure. Remember, it is your family showing you how you are late in life. But when you conceive, everyone will be laughing at you how you are a single mother. Let us value sexual purity, sexual integrity as we are dating. Do not compromise your values because you want to settle. Because you will end up being wounded. Thinking you are late or running out of time is wrong, because all our times and seasons are different before God. Let us work on our character. Let us look good. Let us smell nice. Know who you are. Know your identity. Know your worth. Not allow people to play on you because you don't know your worth. And lastly, as I'm finishing, let me speak to a second. He's a God of second chance. Even if you have messed up, you can choose to make things right, because God's mercy prevails over judgment. Mwebale nnyo kumpuliza, Mukama abawe omukisa basingo abali eyo, and let the Lord continue giving us insights in this season of singlehood, that singlehood is not a curse, but a season of preparation, a season of refining and molding us. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Veronica, peace, blessing.